Hi! Jump scare! Sorry, it's editing Karina here. I filmed this entire podcast episode without mentioning the most important thing, which is a giveaway! I'm so excited for this because I love collecting fashion literature. I have a series from a collaboration between DK and the Smithsonian on fashion history, which I received from my lovely friend Jonathan, who works at Penguin Random House, and he sent me 2 versions of this book. So I have the more updated version, and he also sent me this one, which is like the precursor to the other one, and they have like almost the same information. So I figured I really wanted to do something where I could just like give back and say thanks to my community, and I'm just grateful that y'all are as nerdy about fashion as I am, and that you even bother to listen to my podcast and hear me rant for 20 minutes every week. I'll be doing a giveaway of this book for the next 2 weeks. It is a stunning, lovely, fascinating coffee table read, or you have a particular period that you're interested in. It's very informative. To enter, all you have to do is share your favorite Changing Room Thoughts episode on your Instagram stories or on your TikTok, and just tag my handle. It's Karina J. Chan on both Instagram and TikTok, and that's it. Yay, I'm so excited. I'll be looking at any like shares or mentions for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll randomize a lucky winner, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, on to the rest of the episode. Thanks.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Changing Room Thoughts. This is episode 9. I am really excited about today's episode because I feel like it has been a long time coming. If you're new here, my name is Karina. My content is all about fashion sustainability, fashion as a business, fashion psychology. Just if you've ever had a critical thought about fashion, my content is for you. I'm on TikTok, and obviously I'm on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. I put out new episodes every Monday morning, so you have something juicy to listen on your way to work. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about the different kinds of fashion girlies. There's a lot of different ways in which you can generalize, categorize fashion people. And one of these axes is accessibility. How do socioeconomic factors affect the way that you interface with fashion? And, the internet loves a good personality quiz. So I want to go over 5 to 6 different type of fashion girlies, and you can comment or let me know which one you identify with the most, which one you're trying to be. But these are just the fashion personas that I see living amongst us. Like, they don't necessarily have to work in the fashion industry, and there are people who are interested in fashion and are fashion girlies in any industry. You'll know one when you see one, but these are the ones I keep seeing at like fashion events, influencer events, and I think it's just fun to dissect this community a little bit. So the first category I'm going to start off with are finance girlies. My friend Vivian pointed this out. She said she can clock a fashion finance girly from across the room. She says that they always have a black Chanel flap and a Van Cleef necklace. And the outfit is really basic, but the uber luxurious and expensive accessories speak for themselves. If that is the persona walking into the room, my friends, you have on your hands a finance fashion girly. Now, these are the girls that have stressful AF corporate jobs that pay a lot of money, so they can afford this kind of luxurious lifestyle. And fashion for them is like a form of escapism. Like, this is what they spend all of those long hours in the office for, so that they can afford nice clothes, go to cool events with people that make them forget about their work and escape for a little bit. And they definitely have an appreciation for the arts. A lot of these girls are girl boss without taking themselves too seriously. Like, they're girl boss as a product of their working environment. So some friends I think of that are in this category are Michelle, who I think just left her role as an investment banker. Not sure what she's doing now. I need to catch up with her. My friend Grace, Amazing-ish Grace, who also used to be at Goldman. She's always been super slay, Miss Crochet Queen. Another girl, Jade Beglin, who started her own skincare brand. Like, all of these girls I feel have a strong following because of their very infectious strong female empowerment energy that comes across on social media, and it's just so fun. I love me a good finance fashion girly because they're just kind of so motivating. Like, they're one of those people that show you like, yeah, maybe I can do it all. So that's the finance fashion girly. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my friends who are in or have been in finance that ended up being fashion girlies all have like really interesting, unique sense of style and don't do the whole basic outfit with really big ticket accessories. So I don't know. Maybe there's like a divergence. Okay, number 2, the tech girlies. The tech fashion girlies are interesting because they also make considerable money, but because they're more like they're a little bit more granola, I guess, because a lot of them are in San Francisco, and just like the tech community, you know, we go rock climbing, we like to hike, we like to bike. We're just a little bit more into nature, I guess, and less like absolute city girls, that I feel like sometimes this is where like the gorp core girlies intersect. Like you get the Lululemon, but you also have the Dagna Dover bags. It's very like functional fashion. And another thing I've noticed is a lot of tech girlies have an intersection with the Asian Japanese niche fashion designer space. I'm thinking like Capital Japanese denim, Rig Kawakubo, or they wear a lot of Margiela and Rig because they're really into like kind of the clean minimalism look. For tech fashion girlies, I can't think of any influencers that immediately come to mind, but anecdotally, based off of my friends and people I know, some of my friends like Alice Zhao, Alice Jang, Erica Wu, they all have like great sense of style. My friend Alice Jang, she's an engineer at Grailed, which is super cool, by the way. It's really heartwarming to me because there's definitely this growing group of fashion girlies in tech, and just in general, this growing like fashion technology community that I find really interesting. More on that later because I have a lot of thoughts about the intersection between fashion and technology, but that's for another episode. I think the tech fashion girly tends to have a bit of an overlap with the next type of fashion girly, which is the thrift everything vintage queen fashion girly, because I feel like a lot of the tech girls, because they're so granola and because they like care about the environment a lot, end up being like big thrift nerds. Like, prime example, I think I'm in this category. I'm in a combination between like tech fashion girly and thrift everything vintage queen, because I will say, like, I do think I am very functional about my fashion. You know me, one of the things I try my hardest to do is to shop as sustainably as I can. No one's perfect. And this is also a topic for another podcast episode, but sometimes like the fashion sustainability community can just get so annoying and elitist and like just let people live, you know what I mean? But I digress. So the thrift everything vintage queen, like, they're the type of people that are probably pretty reactive. Like, they walk into a thrift store, they don't have a plan, they see something really flashy and shiny and interesting that they like instantly fall in love with. So their closets are oftentimes like a few basic pieces, but a majority are like these random ass statement pieces because they've gotten so good at finding interesting things at the thrift and getting creative with the way they put outfits together by sheer necessity of constantly shopping things secondhand, that they have this really quirky, eclectic sense of style. It's very quirky chaos. Some influencers I think of that are kind of in this category are like, this is kind of my favorite category: Madison Wild, Rama, aka Adrian. I actually ran into her at the Manhattan Vintage Fair. She's so nice and so pretty IRL, like queen. I was fangirling a little bit with my friend Ari, who is also like on fashion TikTok with me. Okay, some of these thrift everything vintage queen girls though, the girls that are deep into this category have even come so far as to create their own vintage curation businesses. For example, one of my friends, Nick Paulina, she is so cool. I was doing this influencer closet clean out / vintage curation small business pop-up with her in Soho, and she was like, yeah, I just started reselling all of my vintage clothes like a couple months ago, like quit full time to do this. And I was like, wow, that is really fascinating. She has an amazing series on TikTok where she points out all of the best places to thrift. And you guys, like, she's encyclopedic. Like she has a whole spreadsheet where she ranks and has like notes on every single thrift store in New York. It's honestly truly impressive, and she's out here just giving you this information for free. Like, bless her soul. I digress. This next category I would say is somewhat analogous to the finance girlies category. I call her the luxury fashion lover. These are the fashion girlies that love a good branded moment, love a good logomania moment. And hey, some people say quiet fashion, like quiet luxury. There's nothing quiet about quiet luxury. Like, the irony is like people who are into quiet luxury are so fucking loud about it that it's just luxury fashion. Like, you just love luxury fashion, okay? Anyways, I digress. Venting a little bit. I just think quiet, like, I don't know, like the emphasis on quiet luxury and to have everybody know that you participate in quiet luxury is just so obnoxious. But anyways, luxury fashion lovers love branded clothing. They love a good Louis V monogram moment. They love a good campy Moschino Barbie sweater. Like, these are the girls that are not like, they know that they're buying things for the brand and for the logo, but they're doing it in a way that is so intentional that it's like campy. It's a statement. It's not just like, I don't know why I'm spending my money this way. It's, oh, I understand fashion and what is a moment, and I know exactly where I can put my money for it to have the best impact. So I think of these girls as like Moschino girls, Louis Vuitton girls, definitely Chanel girls. She definitely has an Hermes blanket on her living room couch. You know the vibes. She probably has a dip candle, and her taste in candles is so bougie that, you know, those really nice candles, they don't say just like soy blend candle. It says bougie parfum. Those kinds of candles. They definitely host dinner parties. Like, they're that kind of people. There's a fine line though between like a girl who's a luxury fashion lover who's just so fun to be around and one that's just like really obnoxious. But I think of like Christine Quinn. Like, some people think that her fashion is a little tacky because it's so like luxury branded focus. But I think that's the point. I think that's like part of the charm and part of what makes it so camp. Because like, she knows that you are perceiving her that way. I don't know. It's a little bit meta, but I love it. And as much as you love to hate them, everyone loves a good luxury fashion connoisseur. Some figures that I would put in this category: Olivia McDowell, so chic. Like, she is such an elegant woman. She definitely focuses on the luxury fashion niche. And the luxury fashion girl isn't just like, oh, she's got lots of branded stuff. Like, no, it's about everything that she does. Like, the fact that Olivia McDowell hosts these like beautifully curated dinner parties. She has the cleanest fuck ass bob I've ever seen. Like, that bitch is blunt cut, so clean. But yeah, Olivia McDowell and Jackie Aina. Jackie Aina, like, the reason why we love the luxury fashion girlies is because we can live vicariously through them. Like, Jackie Aina, I love when she goes to Chanel and buys like 20 grand worth of shit, because there is just no way that I am going to be doing that, at least anytime soon. I love to see it for her, even if like, yeah, even if I can't relate. It's aspirational. They're aspirational. Okay, now this brings me to my next type of fashion girly. This is, I think, another facet of my type of fashion girly, is the financially sustainable fashion girlies. I got so many comments on TikTok. Okay, now if you watch me on TikTok, you know I've like gone off about this topic and kind of started a bit, I hate to be that influencer that's like, I started a trend. But like, I started a thread. I was like, hey, financially sustainable fashion girlies, where are you? And what are your tips and tricks for making sure that you don't overspend? Because having cute clothes is hot, but being broke is not. And I got so many stitches and so many duets on that video, and it just made me so fuzzy to know that there is like definitely a community of us out there, because I feel like usually when you talk about the fashion community or like fashion girlies, it's just kind of assumed that they're like not good with their money, that they spend too much on frivolous things. But there's definitely a lot of us out there who have an appreciation for good design, for aesthetics, for the arts, that like are also conscious about the way that we spend money, about saving for retirement. And I want to normalize those voices more, because like, that's a majority of us. And I think it's quite a bit of erasure to be like, oh, you have to be super rich to participate or enjoy fashion, because That's just so, like, not true. As long as you put clothes on your body, like, you have a point of view on fashion and you're taking part in that dialogue. And, like, what about the people whose niches it is specifically to dress well within a reasonable budget? Like, that's really interesting to me. I might even do, like, a thrifting or, like, fashion challenge on myself to not spend more than, like, $100 on clothes a month. Actually, it was so funny. One of my friends asked me, her name is Jenna. She asked me, Karina, how much do you spend on clothes every month? This was a flex for me because people think I spend a lot of money on clothes every month. I don't think I spend more than like $300 on clothes a month. And she was like, oh my God, that's pretty good. And I'm like, it's because I don't buy like new things anymore. It's because I thrift everything. And I try very, very hard not to impulse buy. And I try my hardest to like purchase like one really nice product, like one really nice piece. If you watch my episode with Mama Chan, you know that's where I got that from. But anyways, I actually would really love to tell a story about like the socioeconomic elitism in fashion and being a financially sustainable fashion girly. So actually, when I was in Georgetown, I went to Georgetown for undergrad. For those of you who are unfamiliar, it's like the type of private, like American 4-year university where like a lot of the people going there are from rich families. It's a PWI and like it's known for a very competitive and pre-professional club culture. Like Georgetown is a Wall Street feeder school. And so as you can imagine, a lot of the kids that go there are like WASP, born to be bankers, like that type of thing. And I was a freshman and I was applying to be part of the Student Federal Credit Union, and which was the hot club at Georgetown at the time. I made it all the way to the final round. I remember my friends were like jealous. They were like, what? And I was like, I was feeling so good. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like really charming them. I'm really bringing my all in these interviews. So actually, the last round of these interviews, you dress business casual to business formal, and they ask you to print out 11 resumes. I was waiting outside to call your name. I walk into the room with my 11 resumes, my J. Crew button up tucked into a pencil skirt, you know, thinking I was the shit. There's literally a ring of desks where they sit all the members of like GWAFSCU that are conducting your interviews, and you sit in the middle. So I literally have to turn around to like answer someone's question behind me. I hand everyone a copy of my resume and they grill you on everything. Mind you, I'm like a 19-year-old that just graduated from high school, and they just take themselves so seriously. So I literally like they grilled me on my 19-year-old's like naive resume, and in my interest section I had put fashion. Now mind you, I grew up in like a upper middle class environment in California, in the suburbs, in like a tech community where like people's idea of fashion is like not wearing the company branded Patagonia jacket. That's like the fashion statement. And anyways, I had a lot of honestly like internalized misogyny thoughts about fashion growing up in that kind of environment, and I can get into that in another episode. Honestly, like maybe that's for another episode. I digress. Anyways, this girl was like asking me, she was like, oh, I see you're interested in fashion, so like what designers are you into? And I was like, I didn't know how to respond because I did not have the capital to even like consider or even think about like designer fashion in that way. I was like, oh, when I said I was interested in fashion, I meant like Jen Im. Have you heard of Jen Im? You know, like the YouTuber, best dressed. And this girl just looked at me and she was like, what? And she was like, well, what about the most recent runway shows like Burberry, like fall winter, like which year? I was like so new to this whole scene. I was like, what is she talking about? I was like, okay, maybe this isn't the place for me. Like I am not rich enough to be hanging out with these people apparently. So yeah, anyways. Because of that experience, I am so against just like being elitist and like socioeconomically exclusive when it comes to fashion. Like I think there is an aspect of luxury fashion that is fun because it is aspirational. It makes you feel accomplished when you're able to achieve it. Sorry, my battery keeps dying, so I'm gonna try to keep this really quick, wrap it up so I can, because I don't have that much time left. Anyways, okay, where was I? All right, so that is the financially sustainable fashion girly, aka me. Now this last section of fashion girly are the fashion girlies that have the most accessibility in fashion. And these are the girls that like, as much as we love to hate on them, we are jealous. Like their life is nice. Like if I could be a nepo baby fashion girly, I would. Like if you could be Gigi Hadid or Bella Hadid, don't lie, like you would. You would. So nepo babies, they have the industry connections. These are the girls that are most likely to work in fashion. And like, I've thought about working in fashion, and just looking into like the entry level jobs is very hard to make a living and make it work. It's very toxic work environments. Your entry level job is going to be like 40, 50K a year. And like living in New York and going to all these glamorous parties and like looking nice all the time, like it's just not financially sustainable unless you have like parents who are kind of bankrolling you a little bit and supporting you. And look, no shade. I know people like to hate on nepo babies because they think that they have like the easy way out, and they kind of do, but like good for you. Like your life is nice. Like I am jealous. And you know what? Say all you want about nepo babies, but they slay. They slay like it's their job, because it is. Because they literally don't have to worry about anything else for work. And I am so jealous. Like, you have no idea how they make money, but they live so fabulously. So I feel like we all know the nepo babies. You know, Bella, etc., Lila Moss, you know, they're all Hailey Bieber. And as much as we all like wish that they were ugly or had a stank attitude or whatever, they're actually all gorgeous. And I think they get a lot of like undue hatred online because people are jealous, but that's okay. But anyways, yes, this is my roundup of the different types of fashion girlies, at least when it comes to the standpoint of accessibility. Of course, in the future, I would love to get more into like fashion girlies by aesthetics. Like the internet, for some reason, loves typifying and personifying different groups of aesthetics and visual images together. I am no different. I have to admit, I do shit like that too. So maybe next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what kind of fashion girly you are, or if you think that I missed one. Anyways, talk to you guys next Monday morning. Bye!